Hey there, I'm Karthik Chandramouli, and the topic that I'm going to be talking about in this video is the effect of GST on the hybrid car segment. The rollout of GST has made India a one nation, one tax, one marketplace. The effect of GST has been largely positive for the automobile segment, excepting the hybrid car segment. It is really unfortunate that the hybrid car segment is the one to come off worse after the implementation of GST. Sample this. The hybrid cars were being charged at 29% before implementation of GST, and right now, after GST, the tax component on them is about 43%, varying across states. Hybrids are of two categories. You either have the hardcore hybrids like the BMW i8, or you have the mild hybrids like the Suzuki Ertiga or the Mahindra Scorpio. The mild hybrids generally sold better because they were a little more affordable than, say, a hybrid such as the Toyota Camry, which retailed at close to 25 lakh rupees in India. No, what happens in a mild hybrid is that the company tweaks the technology a little. So you either get better fuel efficiency or it is the use of the kinetic energy recovery system, which is nothing but using the energy while you brake in the car, which is being stored in a battery, which then enables to power your engine. While mild hybrids and hybrids together accounted for about 1 lakh units of sale in the last 2 years, the GST rollout has definitely been bad news for the segment on the whole. Toyota has already said that it is pulling back plans to invest into the hybrid car segment in India, and it is all the more surprising if you consider that the government policy called FAME, which is faster adoption and manufacturing of electric and hybrid vehicles, actually gave more importance to these new segments. The hybrid cars definitely need more incentives because any nation would first want a rollout of hybrid cars to be successful, following which they move into an electric vehicle segment. India, as we have all heard so far, by 2030 wants electric cars on the road, which means literally every car on the road needs to be electric, and that is the far distant dream of the government so far. I feel it's a far fetched dream, to be really honest with you. To have only electric cars on the road is going to take a huge toll on the automobile segment. Automobile is a huge contributor to the country's GDP. To lay out a policy or to advise companies to start producing electric cars alone would mean no more petrol or diesel engines when the year 2030 comes closer. The infrastructure for it is quite honestly not ready. For electric cars to survive, you basically need to have electric cars which have a better range. Right now, the cars available in the market do not give you a range of more than 300 kilometers per charge. And where do you get all the electricity to power all these electric vehicles that we talk about? You need to have so many charging stations in place which ensure that the cars continue rolling on the roads instead of coming to a stationary halt in the service lanes. Electric cars is a distant dream, although I feel it is not impossible. To have electric cars only on the road, I think is a far too big an ask right now. Hybrid cars would have been the best way to judge India's adoption into an electric car segment. And when it came to hybrid cars, India was basically at the innovator level or probably at an early adopter stage. And with only 1 lakh hybrid cars being sold, I thought that hybrids would be given more importance because that gives the consumers or the customers in this case an experience of what to expect when electric cars roll in. This policy of not favoring the hybrid cars right now is defended by the government, where they claim that if you have the money to go for an Ertiga or a Mahindra Scorpio, which retail close to 10 lakh rupees, you definitely have the purchasing power to spend that extra 1 lakh or so needed if you definitely want to go in for the hybrid. Although I feel this is a fair point of view from the government, I think that hybrid cars need to be incentivized more because the more you have hybrid car adoption, it's going to ease your process of making electric cars available to the masses by the year 2030. Now, I would say Tesla in this regard, which is making huge waves across the US and predominantly across the world, where India has been laying the red carpet out to Tesla to basically build a plant here. Tesla has the perfect solution, which is an entire ecosystem like what Apple does. Tesla owns solar panel roofs, which, when put on top of houses, gets to store solar energy. And when you own a Tesla at home, it's going to help you charge your car much easier. You use a renewable source of energy to charge your own vehicle. Now, that is a complete ecosystem. How far is India away from all this? I think it's a little far off. But if you have to bet on any government to do a positive reform, at least having witnessed 10 years of Congress rule, you would have to bet huge on Narendra Modi and his aspirations. Whether we get to see only electric cars on roads by 2030, that's a tall ask, and I feel it is definitely not possible. But you can gradually expect to see probably 5 to 10 percentage of electric cars on roads by 2030. And even for that to happen, the groundwork has to start right now. And if the infrastructure is built up, and if you can guarantee providing electricity across the entire country, if you want electric vehicle adoption, I think the work has to start right now. And although it looks like hybrid car segment is about to die a slow death, I feel if the car manufacturers basically continue with whatever model has been running, I think there would still be takers for hybrid vehicles, because I buy into the argument that if you can buy a car for 9 lakhs, you definitely have that purchasing power to push that bit extra, a 1 lakh or so, to get yourself a hybrid. And with that being termed a mild hybrid, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. Sure, for somebody who wanted to buy a hybrid car like the BMW i8, the car is really expensive right now. But if you can afford an i8, I think the argument still holds valid that you can put in that extra effort. Your purchasing power capacity lets you buy it. So, looking forward to 2030, I think the groundwork has to start right now, like I told you. And unless you begin the work right now, it's going to be really difficult for you to dream of a 2030 wherein there are a large number of electric cars on the road. And this is the issue with India. There is no middle ground taken. It's either one extreme or the other. Once you see global warming and you feel you have to cut down on emissions, you lay a motherhood statement saying you want only electric cars on the roads by 2030. What effect is it going to have on the automobile segment, where predominantly all your car manufacturers do only petrol and diesel? A country like the United States of America, which has so much of technology available at its doorstep, even a country such as the US is not making a tall claim that it would only facilitate electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles in the near future. I think it's good to dream, but then I feel the dream should be achievable, and therefore I believe that unless the work begins now, you cannot have at least 5 to 10 percentage of cars which are electric or hybrid, a combination of the two, by 2030. Next up, to end this video, I feel that my next topic would be more on what OnePlus did wrong with its latest flagship killer, the OnePlus 5. I think that would be out in about 2 to 3 days. So stay tuned. If you've liked the channel so far, I would definitely recommend you to subscribe to the channel and definitely spread the word around. Thank you for watching, and good night.